Hi, I'm here to do a presentation on a case study on a patient named Jane. Jane is a 14-year-old female. She is 62 inches tall, weighs 152 and 9/10 of a pound, which makes her BMI 27.96. During testing, her blood pressure was at 125/82. This is a normal range, but I do like to make note of this. It is a slightly elevated blood pressure, which can take some effect of some of her other nutritional deficits. Her fasting glucose was 116, which is elevated, and her LDL cholesterol was 113, which brings her very close to a hyperlipidemia range. If we plot these on the CDC uh, charts, Jane falls in the 96th percentile for her BMI, which makes her into the obese category. She falls right around the 35% for stature for age, so she's a little bit short for her age, but very much in the normal range. And her weight, she falls right around the 93% for age. Uh, so again, normal ranges there, little elevated on the weight. Uh, Jane's, after looking at a 3-day food study, it was shown that Jane has nutritional deficits in potassium, vitamin D, fiber, vitamin E, and protein. Vitamin D is necessary for the strengthening of bones and growing during bones. And with that being tied with the vitamin E deficit, the vitamin E causes muscle loss and possible anemia. So these are things that definitely need to be considered when looking into a new diet so that she can have a strong body moving forward. Uh, Potassium, lack of potassium can make her irritable and mentally confused. Uh, Jane is 14 years old, possibly going into puberty, so the added hormones with the irritability and mentally confused aspects of lacking potassium can definitely make an impact on her schooling. And so we definitely want to find a way in which adding potassium back to her diet can definitely benefit her and her relationships. Protein is definitely an aspect in which we want to focus on as well. She was not did not have an absolute deficit there, but over the course of the 3-day study, she was very low. Um, and this can stunt growth, this can lead to weakness, uh, add to heart issues or kidney issues as well. And so we just want to make sure that with the other vitamin deficits that she had, that we find a way to make sure protein is adequate as well. When it comes to the nutritional excess, Jane was excessive in her energy intake, carbohydrates, fat, her thiamine levels, riboflavin, vitamin C, selenium, and sodium. Uh, Coming into the energy intake and carbohydrates, both of these having such excess can cause problems such as type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and heart disease. Uh, Her father and mother are both overweight, and her father has a history of type 2 diabetes. Um, so this is something genetics allows or often willing uh, be a causation of younger children to contract the disease. And so we want to keep an eye on uh, that possibility. Adding to the excess of fat and adding overweight, definitely diabetes becomes probably the most probable outcome of these excesses. Thiamine and riboflavin hold no real danger for Jane. However, because they can be excreted through the kidneys. However, this could be a problem if the kidneys begin to have issues with the excess vitamin C or the lack of some of the other nutrients that we discussed, vitamin E and so forth. Vitamin C can produce, overabundance of vitamin C can produce kidney stones, and the excess sodium that Jane intakes can cause kidney disease, making it more problematic to excrete the vitamin B, the B vitamins. Sodium also has a correlation with heart disease and high blood pressure. And again, I made note of this at the beginning. She does not currently have high blood pressure, but because it is slightly elevated and her sodium intake was so great, it is something to take into consideration as we look into finding ways of making Jane more healthy in her lifestyle. The elevated selenium levels can cause liver damage as well as loss of fingernails and hair. This is something that for a teenage girl we definitely want to make sure does not happen, and so lowering the selenium levels in her diet would definitely be an important thing to do. So some recommendations that I have for Jane. Um, we want to make sure that she has the attitude that there's no, or she has the attitude that the cause of her obesity could have been due to the hormonal changes for um, puberty. Being 14 years old, the body tends to add a little bit more fat to the body in that hormonal change. And so we just want to make sure that we can lower her body weight and keep her on a healthy track, but not lose a fast amount of weight at an unreasonable time standing. So some ways in which she can help keep track of some of the nutrients that she's intaking, as well as finding ways to have a healthy lifestyle, would definitely be food tracking. And I came up with 3 different ways in which this would help. She can keep a precise log online at chronometer.com. This gives a very detailed explanation of what nutrients she's consuming and at what percentage she can cut back or add on, and things like that. Simply keeping a journal on what she eats will have a benefit as well. This is just keeping a conscious idea of what is being consumed, um, because being conscious of what you eat means that you're not going to be just eating for the sake of eating. You're understanding how it makes you feel, and was it worth it kind of in the end. And if those are taking too long, she definitely has the opportunity to look at the choosemyplate.gov, see how many fruits, vegetables, grains that she should be eating, and simply keep a tally chart saying that she's eaten so many servings of grains or fruits. Adding exercise to Jane's routine is definitely important, finding ways of getting her that 60-minute exercise so that she can start to not only help her heart, but can possibly lose weight with that as well. In a 14-year-old, it would be important for her to start taking a leadership role in healthy eating, not only for her families and friends, but just to kind of see that she is capable of doing it, as well as getting the feedback and the recognition as being a leader there can definitely make her feel that this is something she wants to do and is capable of doing, and gives her some aspects there for her life. Reading labels is also another important thing for Jane to be able to do. This ensures that the foods that her family buys has the needed iron that she'll need to go through puberty and the rest of her adult life, as well as fiber and protein and low calorie counts, low sodium counts that she needs to be taking aware of in her diet. As far as adding the family to this family path, eating dinner together is important. This will help show each other the healthy eating habits and ways in which, as a family, they can work together on this journey to make sure that they're having help in their health with one another, and knowing that each one of them supports each other. I would also suggest applying for financial services like the SNAP program or the WIP program. SNAP can definitely be beneficial for the entire family and providing a little bit of aid to their food, being that they often run out of money for food by the end of the month. And WIC can help her mother and young brother, who is still of age to be assisted under WIC. This will offer a path to getting counseling for the family. It won't necessarily be a huge financial benefit, but it can definitely add some relief for the family through the WIC program, and give some ideas on how they can better their life in a healthy way. Other ways would be going to a local food pantry. Oftentimes, these take a minimal application, if any application, to actually go and be able to get some extra food that way. Also, taking time to exercise together, bike rides or walks, playing outdoors, just going to the park together, something to get the whole family involved with the exercise is definitely going to be a huge benefit. As suggestions for food, I came up with another 3-day menu for her, keeping foods that hopefully 14-year-olds would enjoy. So breakfast day one would be kind of a Mexican themed, with a breakfast burrito and a glass of orange juice. Lunch would be a chicken salad, and then have a snack of peanut butter and apples. And then dinner, a pork tenderloin, sweet potato fries, Brussels sprouts, and add some dairy. Day two, it would be kind of more of a omelet with a grilled cheese for lunch, and tomato soup and a fruit smoothie, um, celery and hummus for a snack, and turkey and rice with roasted vegetables for dinner. And day three, you can start with multigrain Cheerios and mixed fruit, grilled chicken sandwich, carrot sticks for lunch, peach and yogurt with a snack, and salmon and vegetables for dinner. These are all not terribly difficult things for young people to want to eat or desire to eat, but it also gives her a nice variety throughout the 3 days. These are the references that I was using throughout this presentation, as well as through my paper and assessment of Jane. Thank you very much.